Good Friday afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, let me get this out of the way. I hope everybody has a blessed weekend this weekend, because the topics I'm fixing to go on, I might even forget to say y'all have a blessed day. You never know about me. All right. I had posted this morning about what was the people's concerns so that I could answer all the highfalutin rich folks at CPAC. Well, I've made a list. I've glanced through some of y'all's comments. This is just a list of my suggestions and how I see it. It's nothing set in stone. They can be changed. They can be added to. They can be amended. But first and foremost, getting to Washington. I have to get to Washington. And for that to happen, there's going to have to be a lot of folks get educated in the fact being that there is a stipulation in voting. It is in your primaries. If you don't like whose names are on the list in your primaries, you can write in a name. It has to be in the primaries. And if a person gets enough support, they are automatically put on the ballot. Write-ins are now currently allowed in 38 states. I think we should write it in all 50 states, because legally you are supposed to be able to write in a name if you don't like the ones above in a primary. That's the way it was written up. That's the way the rules are. Now, some of these states have changed it. I find that very unconstitutional. But in 38 states, if you get enough support, if 50 million people write my name in and they don't recognize it, then instead of the ballots, we're going to go to the bullets, straightforward and fast. So the first rule, the first key is educate yourselves. Educate yourselves on the primaries. That's where you go and write in a name. Find out when the primary is in your state. Be prepared to go. Be prepared to show up in force and write in a name. Now, borders and national security. We have a lot of countries that have armed borders, and we don't hear anybody screaming and crying and pleading about that. We don't hear them complaining about it. They just don't try to cross the borders because they might get shot. But securing our border is not a problem, and that will help increase our national security alone. Just having armed borders with an instant turnaround on deportation, secure the border. Military. We have 900 bases worldwide. We've got closed bases right here in the United States, and a lot of the towns where these bases closed at, their economy damn near collapsed. How about we reopen a lot of these bases in the United States and close a lot of the bases worldwide and have that money coming back into our economy? Falls right into economy with the bases being reopened. And y'all heard me talk about a presidential lottery. Well, there's a lot of ways that you can run this little presidential lottery, but we're planning on, you can make a millionaire every day. And you can do it with 6 numbers. And if all 6 numbers don't get matched, then you just go to the man that matched 5 numbers or the man that matched 4 numbers. But you put $1 million winner out there every day. And then in 180 days, you put them in another pot for another $1 million or $5 million tax-free. And all you got to do it tax-free is where it says Social Security number, not applicable. Simple as that. And that money is immediately pumped back into the economy. And with 352 new millionaires a year, in 4 years, that's 1,200, 1,300 new millionaires. And they're spending money and pumping that money into the economy. But furthermore, the money that you're making off the lottery can go right back into the things that's important here. Okay? We have problems with homeless, vets, homeless period, children that are hungry. Roads, bridges. A lot of these states are pocketing over $250 million just off the lottery. And if you multiply that by 50, that's a lot of money that just can go right back into the economy. Executive orders and the Affordable Care Act. Look, these are not a problem. Executive orders and the Affordable Care Act can be taken care of with a pen. They were put in with a pen. They can be taken care of with a pen. It just depends on whose hand is holding that blessed pen. Schools and this Common Core. Okay, first thing we need to do is get the federal government out of the schools. Turn it back over to the states. We need to eliminate the standardized testing. We need to allow the teachers start teaching the children to think outside the box. Start thinking for themselves. learning history, math, science. Don't have a standardized testing to make them all into a bunch of little robots. Let them be free to study and learn. You know, that goes right along with the discipline thing. Allowing the parents to start disciplining their children, even allowing the schools to start disciplining them. Just because they're bad don't mean you need to send them home for 2 weeks. Hell, they'll get in trouble just to get a vacation from school. You need to put them in detention hall, make them start studying, make them start reading, make them stand up and read out loud, make them write 50 times on the chalkboard. You know, you do that enough and you get tired of doing it, you start behaving. Now, ISIS and any threat to anyone, anywhere. Since this country is so torn up and divided from wars and having been in wars over oil and stuff like that for so long, well, we have a large portion of our population that like war. So what we do is we find those people that like making war and we create an avenue for them to make war. If you have been prior military or if you are current military and you like fighting, we can make the avenue happen so you can go and fight all you want. And those companies that want to spend billions of dollars on war, we can take care of you too. That's another thing. Getting America back from the corporations and putting it back into the hands of we the people. Not we the billionaires, not we the multi-million corporations. Oh my goodness. Every treaty that has been signed, NAFTA, the rest of them, they've cost America jobs. We need to go back and look at these treaties and reevaluate them. Some of them need to be disbanded, done away with. We need to start taking care of America, opening factories and getting made in the USA back into the world. And then, Muslims. Let me tell you something. If you want Sharia law, you better go back to whatever country you came from. We are the United States of America. We are under a constitution, and once the organic constitution is restored, your life ain't going to be too happy and too sweet here. In fact, it might be hard enough and rough enough that you'll gladly return to whatever country you came from where Sharia law is in effect. And number 9, restoring the organic constitution. And some of you say, Redneck, that ain't going to quite be possible because they ain't going to get on board with it. There's something that Redneck knows that those suits and ties in Washington, D.C. did, and they did it all on their own. They free will signed it. And I will use that power to make them get the bill up to restore the organic constitution because, see, I ain't scared to do it. I ain't scared to do it. And last but not least, Redneck, what does it take to get someone like you off my Facebook and off my internet? I just had to throw that one in there because it was actually sent to me. That's what they want to do. Get someone like me off the internet. And the reason I'm laughing is because this brings up a whole new avenue. Net neutrality. Don't do anything or say anything or speak up, and the net neutrality is going to make sure that you can't even be on the internet. Not unless you want to pay the price. Y'all think about it. That's Redneck's Thought today, and as always, have a blessed day.